Hey you guys, it's me Gemstone from tarotforhealing.com. I hope you guys are doing really well. This video is for the Virgos. This is your monthly reading, and I've I've been doing them slightly different. You guys know, like every time I'm doing the readings differently month to month, and this month I decided to incorporate playing cards into the reading because I've been connecting more with the spirit of my great grandma, and she used to read using playing cards. So what I've decided to do is I've pulled four playing cards, and those are going to be like a general reading, and then I've pulled four tarot Illuminati cards, and those will be like going into the more specific areas of your life. Now, your first playing card is the Ace of Spades, the Eight of Spades, and the Seven of Clubs, and the Nine of Clubs. Now, what I see here is there could be opportunities for things to be clear, for clear communications, clear understanding, being able to move forward through challenges, or it could be a case of a situation that came through may have presented like a good idea, a good opportunity, but now for some reason you feel stuck in this whatever you've decided to do. You might even feel stuck because you don't know whether to take an opportunity or not, and so there might be some uncertainties around that, and so it could just mean maybe you're not actually making a choice. But then I'm also seeing to where again it might be a situation where you may not even want the help side of other people, wanting to kind of deal with everything by yourself. The good thing is that if I'm just feeling like if that message resonates with you, feeling stuck with choice or feeling like you have too many options, too many, like you just feel too many directions, you don't have a clear vision of what it is you want to do moving forward. It also could be saying that that could be an energy for some of you guys that could be happening, as well as it could have happened passing energy, because what I'm seeing here is that it's like you want to break out of feeling stuck and stifled. It's like you don't want to keep things in limbo anymore, or for some of you guys it could be that you don't want any fears or concerns to hinder you. You want to be able to get through them and stand on your own 2 feet and make a solid decision, or again just is sort of like saying like you just don't want to be stuck in a rut anymore. And the last card is saying that be careful that you might be taking on too much in June. There might be a lot, what I'm seeing is there might be a lot of opportunities thrown at you, or there's going to be some uncertainties around opportunities, not knowing whether you want to take them or not. It could be that a number of things sound good to you and you just don't know which one you should really start making moves on. But then I'm seeing here that it could lead in you maybe taking on more than what you're maybe physically able to take on. And so it could just mean that you have to spend much more time maybe working, doing tasks, doing duties that may take you away from maybe other things you want to do, maybe in terms of personal life, or just in terms of having maybe free time. Like I feel like this could be a month where you don't really have so much free time, especially when you get going, after you deal with the blocks of things. Like after that point, then you might not have much free time because you might be trying to maintain quite a few things by yourself. And another thing I would say is try not to just to handle everything by yourself. If you need help, try to ask other people for help and see what they can do in terms of assisting you. Um, because I'm kind of feeling here that you are at risk of, yeah, just trying to get too much done by yourself. I feel like there's tasks that you want to bring to an end, things that you want to complete as well. So it could even be a case of maybe some of you have a course or something that you're doing and you just want to get it done, you just want to get it over with. Or it could be a case of maybe a work situation or duties, some kind of responsibilities that you want to fulfill and just get them done. So but it could be a situation that you kind of created for yourself as well. That's kind of what I'm seeing here. But you have the drive to be able to get through it though, but it's going to be a lot. Um And so the first card that shows up for you in terms of your spirituality, no, it's not. Do you know why I'm saying that? Because of the way the temperance looks, it just reminds me of like spirituality. But and maybe that has something to do with the positioning of this card. But the normal position of this card is your work life and your finances. So maybe for some of you guys, work life and finances and spirituality may all be all one coming together. But then you never know, it could be, because it could even be a case of you trying to manifest some things. Maybe there's something spiritually using some spiritual manifestation techniques or so forth in terms of work as well. But also what I see with this card is that it's talking about harmonizing your work situation. It's also talking about bringing things all together. So again, like I saw you guys having a lot of responsibilities. It could mean that you're trying to bring everything together, trying to bring, maybe if you have one job in doing one, I know, one field, and then you might have another job or something you like to do, even a hobby or something that you feel also a responsibility towards, that's completely different. You might be trying to sort of kill two birds with one stone and find a way of like merging everything together. Or I don't know, if you had two different business ideas, two like different concepts or something that you want to do, you might be finding how can you maintain the balance and the peace by sort of trying to bring everything together and manage everything. But also this is a card of moderation as well, with temperance and patience. And when I look at your um cards, you may not be feeling very patient. You may be just trying to just get things done and just steam ahead. But it's sort of saying be patient with getting through the things that you need to get done. But not only be patient, it's also saying to use your smarts in terms of finding ways that makes your load more manageable. So don't just try to do everything. Like, try to think to yourself, okay, is it, who can I call on, or how am I gonna do this? Like, it's sort of telling you, think things through. Don't just start doing stuff. Think it through. Find the way that is most manageable for you, because this card also talks about moderation as well. So you might be feeling really gun-ho about something, really trying to put yourself like full throttle into it, and this card is kind of saying, to chill out a little bit. Try not to be just so full on with like the energy that you put into things. Try to modify it in a way that sees that you are balanced in what you're trying to do. So you can't just be all work this month. Try to find the work and play balance in your life too. And for some of you guys where maybe that's been an issue for a while, maybe June is like the month where you finally are able to work out the balance between your work and your family life and or personal life and so forth. Um, for those of you that are in relationships, you have the Two of Wands. What this card is talking to me about, like, the first thing when I looked at it is sort of speaking to me in terms of what you are desiring for a relationship, where you want a relationship to go. Maybe that's what you're thinking about. Maybe you're thinking about the future of a relationship. For some of you guys, it could mean that maybe you're even thinking about somebody that is at a distance. Maybe you're wanting to visit someone at a distance if your partner is at a distance. Um, it could also be saying that for those of you that are in relationships that are fairly new, again, you might be thinking more about the future of things, where it's going to go, but still it's like things are up in the air, because it's Two of Wands. It's not a card that really signifies stability. It more kind of signifies the future vision of what you want this relationship to be. It's not a bad card at all. Because again, it's a two card. Two represents partnerships. So that is good. It also can be representing a partnership where the two of you do kind of feel evenly yoked in terms of sort of what you bring to the relationship, in terms of your passions and your desires. So yeah, it can be nice for relationships, and in terms of like that aspect of things, the excitement, the passion. It also could be that the two of you might even decide to go on some kind of adventure or plan a trip, do something together that can be quite fun as well. So or you might just be looking into those kind of plans too in the month of June. um for those of you that are not in relationships, I don't know if I showed you the two of wands cards. I don't think I did. Sorry about that. I didn't show it to you. I don't think so. Um, and for those of you that are single, you have the Ace of Swords. And the Ace of Swords can be quite good when it comes to love situations. It can mean that maybe you and somebody end up connecting with one another. It also could mean that some information becomes clearer to you. So if maybe you and somebody else have been kind of been on the fence, or haven't really solidified anything, or established anything, it could mean that maybe things might be moving more in that direction. um and what I see in this card as well is that if there's been any kind of challenging circumstances that you've been going through in terms of the way you view love or your perspective on love, that is going to shift as well. So it can mean that maybe you have an experience that makes you look at love in a very different way. It also could be a case of maybe you even go through an experience that teaches you something about yourself when it comes to love that can also be beneficial to you. So again, it's another positive card. It's a card of clarity, and what I'm seeing with both of the cards when it comes to relationships, the word that really comes to mind is vision. It's about your vision of love, your perspective of love in the month of June. And it's almost like you might be envisioning the love that you want for yourself, or you want to come into your life, and maybe you could be seeing some developments in terms of that. So but your spiritual cards is the Eight of Swords, which kind of fits in with what was sort of going on with your playing cards. It's sort of saying to me, again, don't take on too much, because I kind of feel like you can almost be like this lady where you kind of feel like you can't move forward, you can't progress in the way that you want things to progress. Again, I think that the Temperance card kind of gives advice in terms of how you can manage that situation. Maybe that's why I was instantly thinking spiritual cards, because I kind of feel like looking at these two together, like the Temperance card is sort of the answer to this issue that you're going through. It's also a time where you may be feeling a bit anxious, a bit more stressed, and that's why the Temperance card is telling you you need to modify your life. You have to bring things back into balance. I know that sounds so cliche, because tarot readers always talk about balance, 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 balance. But it's because in a lot of the cards, like that's kind of the theme in a lot of them, is like the polarities that kind of show up in life. And but what it's kind of telling you is that you have to find that kind of sense of balance in your own life, or else you're kind of going to be restricted by your responsibilities, or restricted by that which you are trying to get done but are not really making the strides that you feel like you should be making. I feel like, especially being that you're a Virgo, like Virgos are quite you're quite you're perfectionist, and you're kind of meticulous when it comes to the things that you do. And because you are like that, it can mean that you can be quite annoyed if things aren't done to a certain standard, or you're not able to do them to a certain standard. So it's kind of saying, don't put too much pressure on yourself this month. Don't put too much pressure on yourself in terms of taking on more than you can manage. Because again, I feel like it's not going to be beneficial to you, because it's just going to reach a point where you may feel like, oh yeah, I'm being what's the right way of saying it, like you may feel like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna do all these things, like you may go into it with all these good intentions of what you're gonna do. But I kind of feel that it's almost like when you make that agreement to take it on, you're not gonna really understand like how much is involved in doing all this stuff. So yeah, sort of be careful of that kind of thing. And I think the more spiritual aspect of this card as well is that it's talking to you about breaking free of any boundaries or restrictions that you impose on yourself. Sometimes this can be your own way of thinking, can limit you and prevent you from really exceeding in areas of your life where you actually could, you have the potential to. This card is also about, again, not letting worries and fears hinder you in your life. And in a spiritual level, it can talk about spiritual blocks as well. So it kind of, looking at this card, it kind of makes me ask the question to you is, where do you feel like spiritually blocked in terms of your own kind of development? And or where you've or what fear is preventing you from maybe moving into the next stage of your own spiritual development. And know that whenever you do feel afraid of anything that comes up, or something does make you feel anxious, it gives you an opportunity to really look into, where does that anxiety stem from, where does that stress or where does that fear exist from, because you had to start somewhere. And then you kind of have to ask yourself, why would you, or why would you want to, let something that you could work on and change. Why would you want to stay with that same situation? Why would you want to let something have that kind of influence over you? Um, and I think that being able to work those things out might mean that, again, you can reach this place of temperance where you feel more at peace and at ease, more relaxed. So, yeah. That's your reading, Virgo. Peace and blessings to every single one of you. Bye.